your healing feels complete. But it's actually an ongoing process. Consider this. You're having a terrible day. Everything seems to go wrong: spilled coffee, a flat tire, a missed deadline. Is it truly the external world conspiring against you, or is your inner turmoil coloring your perception of events? Jung would suggest the latter. Your internal state acts as a filter, distorting your experience of reality. A calm, centered mind sees challenges as opportunities. A stressed mind sees obstacles as insurmountable. The challenges don't disappear. Their impact is lessened by our internal state. It's like viewing the same landscape through rose-tinted glasses versus dark ones. This isn't to say that external events are insignificant, they are triggers. But the intensity of our reaction is largely determined by our internal programming. Our emotions aren't just responses to external stimuli. They are also reflections of our inner world, a kind of emotional echo chamber. The more we understand our own inner workings, the less we are controlled by external forces. We become less like weather vanes and more like sturdy oaks, weathering the storms with grace and resilience. That, my friend, is the essence of Jungian individuation, mastering your inner world to master your outer reality. It turns out the universe isn't conspiring against you. You're just very good at self-sabotage. It's a skill honed over years of unconscious programming, a talent most of us possess without realizing it. We are experts at creating our own little dramas, complete with sound effects and a surprisingly dedicated audience of ourselves. Consider this. You've spent weeks agonizing over a presentation, visualizing every possible catastrophe. The day arrives, you stumble over a few words, and immediately conclude it was a disaster. The external reality, a few minor stumbles, is significantly overshadowed by your pre-existing internal narrative. You projected your fear onto the event, creating a self-fulfilling prophecy of doom. This is projection in action, a powerful Jungian concept that highlights how our inner world shapes our perception of the outer world. It's not about avoiding negative experiences, it's about controlling our response to them. It's about recognizing that our reactions aren't dictated by external events alone, but by our interpretation of those events, colored by our unconscious biases and beliefs. We're not just reacting to the world, we're actively participating in its creation, albeit sometimes unintentionally. The good news? We can learn to rewrite the script. Imagine a mirror reflecting your emotions. The mirror itself isn't changing, but the reflection shifts based on your internal state. A stormy inner world reflects a chaotic outer experience, regardless of the actual weather outside. Control the reflection, and you begin to control your experience of reality. Our reactions are a projection of our inner world, not a direct response to external events. It's like that time I tried to bake a cake using only feelings. The result was a delicious, albeit slightly lumpy, metaphor for emotional regulation. This isn't about ignoring problems, it's about mastering your emotional response to them. Think of it as surfing. You can't control the waves, but you can learn to ride them. Jung's work highlights the power of self-awareness. Understanding your inner landscape is the first step to navigating life's unpredictable currents. It's about recognizing that the intensity of your emotional reaction is less about the event itself and more about the internal narrative you're telling yourself. That internal narrative, my friend, is entirely within your control. You're not just a passenger on life's roller coaster. You're the conductor, the engineer, and even the slightly eccentric ride operator. You have the power to adjust the speed, the dips, and even the background music. It's a journey of self-discovery, of becoming the master of your own emotional orchestra. And let's be honest, sometimes even a slightly off-key symphony is better than a complete cacophony. Our reactions are a projection of our inner world, not a direct response to external events. Think of it like this: the world throws you lemons. But whether you make lemonade or a sour face depends entirely on your internal recipe. You might even decide to throw those lemons back, creating a whole new citrus-based conflict. The key is understanding the ingredients you're working with. This understanding allows you to move beyond simply reacting to life's curveballs. It empowers you to proactively shape your experience. It's not about avoiding the storms, it's about building a stronger ship. And sometimes, a little self-deprecating humor can be the best life raft. After all, who needs perfectly smooth sailing when you can have a slightly chaotic but ultimately hilarious, adventure? This isn't about escaping the challenges, it's about learning to dance with them. The world will always throw punches. But your internal resilience determines whether you go down swinging or get back up, ready for the next round. Remember, even the most seasoned boxer gets knocked down sometimes, it's how they get back up that truly defines them. And that, my friend, is the essence of Jungian individuation. It's about becoming the choreographer of your own emotional ballet, even if that ballet involves a few stumbles and maybe an unexpected pirouette into a puddle. Jung believed we all possess a shadow self, a hidden part of our personality containing repressed emotions and instincts. Think of it as the part of you that you try to hide, the stuff you wouldn't post on Instagram, even on a #NoFilter day. It's the grumpy gremlin whispering doubts in your ear, the voice that says, "You're not good enough, or you'll fail." Ignoring it doesn't make it go away, it just makes it louder. It's like trying to ignore a persistent mosquito. Eventually, you'll swat at it, often with more force than necessary. Understanding your shadow self is about acknowledging those parts of yourself, integrating them, and finding a way to work with them rather than fighting them. Because, honestly, who wants to be at war with themselves? That's exhausting and frankly, a bit dramatic. Jung's concept isn't about becoming a stoic robot, devoid of emotion. It's about understanding the why behind your emotional responses. Why does that minor setback feel like a catastrophic earthquake? Why does a critical email trigger a full-blown meltdown? The answer often lies not in the external event itself, but in the unconscious narratives we create around it. We're not just reacting to the world, we're interpreting it through the lens of our past experiences, our beliefs, and our deepest fears. It's a bit like wearing rose-tinted glasses, except sometimes those glasses are smeared with mud and a little existential dread. Think of your mind as a complex operating system, constantly processing information and generating emotional responses. Sometimes, the system glitches. A seemingly insignificant event triggers an overreaction. Because of underlying code, unresolved trauma, ingrained beliefs, or simply a bad day. Understanding your code is key to debugging your emotional responses. It's not about suppressing your emotions, it's about understanding their origin and choosing how to respond, rather than simply reacting. It's about becoming the architect of your own emotional landscape, rather than letting the software run wild. This isn't about eliminating emotions, it's about understanding them. It's about becoming fluent in the language of your own psyche. It's about recognizing that the intensity of your reaction is often determined by your inner world, not the external trigger. It's like realizing your car's sputtering isn't because of the road, but because your gas tank is empty. Jung's work suggests that emotional resilience isn't about avoiding problems, but mastering your response to them. It's not about magically erasing the bad stuff. It's about learning to dance with the darkness, to tango with your trauma, if you will. It's about becoming a better DJ for your own internal playlist, learning to curate the songs instead of letting the same sad track play on repeat. Because, let's be honest, nobody wants to hear that same breakup song for the 47th time. You've got better music in you than that. We all have ingrained patterns, automatic reactions that kick in before we even realize what is happening. It's like a well-worn path in the brain. A groove so deep that thoughts and emotions roll right into it, without conscious effort. But the beautiful thing is, you can create new paths. You can reroute your emotional highways, paving the way for healthier, more constructive responses. This is about shifting from a reactive state, being tossed around by life's waves, to a proactive one, learning to surf those waves with skill and grace. It's about understanding that emotions are messengers, not dictators. They're trying to tell you something, even if that something is you need more sleep. It turns out the universe isn't conspiring against you. You're simply very good at self-sabotage. It's a talent, a tragically hilarious one. We are masters of creating our own personal dramas, complete with elaborate soundtracks and surprisingly convincing villains, often ourselves. We build these narratives in our heads, these intricate stories of woe, and then act them out with the dramatic flair of a seasoned Shakespearean actor. And the audience? Well, that's just us, watching ourselves suffer, muttering, "Oh, the humanity." Think of it like this. Your brain is a powerful computer. But sometimes the software gets a little glitchy. It starts running old programs, ones that no longer serve you. But they are so ingrained, so familiar, that it's easier to keep running them than to update the system. It's like your brain is a stubborn old dog refusing to learn new tricks that are mostly self-inflicted wounds. But here's the good news. You are the administrator. You can uninstall those outdated programs, delete unnecessary files, and install some new, more helpful applications. You can rewrite your internal narratives, and that's where the real power lies. It's not about ignoring the glitches, it's about understanding them and learning to navigate them. Because even a glitchy computer can still do amazing things, especially when you know how to work around the bugs. The key is to become the tech support for your own mind. You're not broken, you're a work in progress, and that's perfectly okay. In fact, it's hilarious how wonderfully broken we all are. It turns out the universe isn't conspiring against you. You're just really good at self-sabotage. It's a talent, really, a tragically hilarious one. We are masters of creating our own personal dramas, complete with elaborate soundtracks and surprisingly convincing villains, often ourselves. We build these narratives in our heads, these intricate stories of woe, and then we act them out with the dramatic flair of a seasoned Shakespearean actor. And the audience? Well, that's just us, watching ourselves suffer, muttering, "Oh, the humanity." Think of it like this. Your brain is a powerful computer. But sometimes the software glitches. It starts running old programs, ones that no longer serve you. But they are so ingrained, so familiar, that it's easier to keep running them than to update the system. It's like your brain is a stubborn old dog refusing to learn new tricks that are mostly self-inflicted wounds. But here's the good news. You are the administrator. You can uninstall those outdated programs, delete unnecessary files, and install new, more helpful applications. You can rewrite your internal narratives, and that's where the real power lies. It's not about ignoring the glitches, it's about understanding them and learning to navigate them. Because even a glitchy computer can still do amazing things, especially when you know how to work around the bugs. The key is to become the tech support for your own mind. You are not broken, you're a work in progress, and that's perfectly okay. In fact, it's hilarious how wonderfully broken we all are. The journey of self-discovery is a comedy show, a tragic comedy really, with you as the star, the writer, the director, and the unfortunate victim of your own brilliance. And sometimes, the punchline is unexpectedly hilarious. Remember that time you tripped over thin air? Yes, that's peak human performance. Remember that mirror reflecting your emotions? It's not just a passive reflection, it's an active participant in shaping your experience. The mirror itself doesn't change. But the light hitting it, the angle from which you view it, that's all determined by your internal state. A calm, centered inner world creates a clear, bright reflection, even when the external world is chaotic. Think of it this way. The external world throws you lemons. Your internal world decides whether you make lemonade, lemon meringue pie, or a potent lemon-infused cocktail of self-pity. The lemons are constant, your response is entirely up to you. It's a matter of choosing your recipe. And honestly, sometimes a really strong lemon-infused cocktail is exactly what you need. Self-pity can be surprisingly delicious in moderation. The trick is to savor it without letting it become your entire diet. It's all about balance, about understanding the power of your internal alchemy. You are, after all, the master chef of your own emotional experience, and a good chef knows how to handle even the most sour lemons. This understanding isn't about ignoring the storms, it's about learning to dance in the rain. It's about recognizing that your emotional weather patterns are largely self-created, not dictated by the external climate. You're not a leaf blown by the wind. You're a seasoned sailor, capable of navigating even the most turbulent seas. The more you understand your inner currents, the better you'll be able to chart your course. The journey isn't about eliminating storms, but about developing the resilience to weather them. It's about cultivating inner strength, not escaping life's challenges. Because, let's be honest, life is a chaotic, beautiful, messy, sometimes hilarious mess. And the sooner you accept that, the easier it will be to navigate its turbulence. The path to individuation is paved with self-acceptance, understanding that your flaws are as much a part of you as your strengths, and that both are necessary for completeness. It's like appreciating a perfectly imperfect painting. The cracks add character, the smudges tell a story. Embrace the chaos. It's where the magic happens. Sometimes, the most beautiful sunsets follow the fiercest storms. The key is perspective, the ability to see beauty even amidst the chaos. It's about finding your center, your inner lighthouse, even when the world swirls with confusion and uncertainty. The more you understand your inner currents, the better you'll chart your course. This isn't about suppressing emotions, but about understanding their origins, purpose, and power. Think of your emotions as a complex orchestra. Each instrument has its unique voice, and sometimes they clash, creating a cacophony. But a skilled conductor can harmonize even the most discordant notes, transforming chaos into a beautiful symphony. Think about it. A seemingly minor setback can send one person spiraling into despair, while another shrugs it off. Why? Because their internal landscapes differ. One person might harbor deep-seated insecurities, magnifying the event's impact. The other might possess a robust sense of self, minimizing its significance. It's not the event itself, but the internal filter through which we perceive it. It's like looking at the same painting. One person sees beauty, another sees only flaws. The painting remains constant, the perception shifts. This isn't about ignoring problems, it's about reframing them. It's about understanding that your reactions are not dictated by external forces, but by your internal narrative. You are the author of your own story, rewrite the ending. It's about acknowledging the power of your inner world to shape your external reality. This is a powerful realization and, frankly, quite liberating. Because once you grasp this, you realize you hold the pen. You are not a victim of circumstance, but the architect of your own experience. The world may throw punches, but your inner strength determines whether you flinch or stand tall. And let's be honest, standing tall is far more fun, even if it requires a bit of internal redecorating. So, next time life throws you a curveball, a missed deadline, a harsh word, a sudden downpour on your perfectly planned picnic, pause. Don't react instinctively. Instead, take a deep breath and ask yourself, what internal story am I telling myself about this? Are you catastrophizing? Are you replaying old wounds? Are you letting your inner critic run the show? Because often, the drama isn't in the event itself, but in the narrative we build around it. We're not just reacting to the world, we're reacting to our interpretation of it. And that, my friend, is where the power lies. Think of it like this: external events are the brushstrokes, but your internal landscape is the canvas. The world throws paint at you, some bright, some dark. But your inner world determines the final masterpiece. A beautiful sunrise can be met with joy or with deep-seated melancholy. It all depends on the pre-existing colors on your canvas. Are you painting a vibrant, hopeful picture, or are you stuck in a monotonous cycle of grays and blacks? Jung would say, stop blaming the world and start exploring your unconscious. The answers, the keys to unlocking a more fulfilling life, are hidden within. It's a journey inward, a confrontation with the parts of ourselves we'd rather ignore. It's about understanding that our emotional responses aren't random. They're deeply rooted in our past experiences, beliefs, and unresolved traumas. Once we understand these roots, we can begin to cultivate a more balanced, resilient inner landscape. We can begin to paint a new picture, one filled with vibrant hues of self-acceptance, confidence, and peace. The world still throws paint, but now you are in control of the brush. Is your anxiety a symptom, or a message from your deeper self? We often mistake the messenger for the message. Anxiety, that persistent knot in your stomach, isn't just a random chemical imbalance. It's often a signal, a warning light flashing on your internal dashboard. It's telling you something is amiss, that something needs attention, that a part of you is feeling unheard, unseen, and perhaps even threatened. Ignoring it only makes the light flash brighter, tightening the knot. Think of it like a smoke detector. The incessant beeping is annoying, even frightening. But the problem isn't the beeping itself, it's the fire. Similarly, anxiety is the alarm. The underlying issue is what needs addressing. What are you avoiding? What fear are you suppressing? What unmet need is screaming for attention? The answer lies not in silencing the alarm, but in understanding its source. Ignoring it is like ignoring a smoke detector in a burning building. It might seem easier in the short term, but it will be catastrophic in the long run. What do you think? Anyone with similar experiences, please comment below and check out the full video via the link below.